Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode of Going in Raw, it's packed. We've got AEW Rampage results from Friday. We've got WWE SmackDown from Friday. And we've got a bunch of news, including Sami getting a rematch with Roman Reigns. Don't get too excited. It's at a house show. Also, Kenny Omega, the cleaner, might be open to signing with a very popular wrestling company, Larson. but first, we got a call coming up later in the show to preview tonight's Monday Night Raw with the game Triple H. And given this first news story, Larson, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions for Mr. Levesque. So far, let's talk about this Triple H story might have, as you can see in the thumbnail if you're watching this on YouTube. By the way, hit that thumbs up button. If we get to 200, Triple H will be very happy.
Yes.
Hit that subscribe button as well. Let's talk about this.
Yes.
Reports have painted. Go ahead.
So far, reports have painted, a rosy picture backstage. Says Triple H took over WWE Creative, with word being that morale in the locker room vastly improved since Vince resigned last July. But a new report from WrestlingNews.co suggests that the game may be ruffling some feathers among talent based on his booking of WrestleMania, is what the site had to say. Quote, WrestlingNews.co is told that Triple H wants a small card this year, which means that a lot of names that have been working on TV and live events throughout the year will be hanging out backstage during the show. Prior years, there was an effort to include as many wrestlers on the card as possible, and a battle royal would be added to the card to at least give the undercard a chance to be featured on the show. We're told that this year, there is no battle royal planned and only a small handful of talent are being used. There's also some unhappiness about some of the slots on the show being used by legends and celebrities. So regarding the use of legends and celebrities as opposed to full-time stars, I get that frustration 1,000%. Yeah. You know, especially if there's limited spots on the Mania card, you'd like to see as many of those spots go to the full-time roster. And I do feel bad legitimately for anybody who's been working their butt off throughout the year and aren't going to get any sort of spot in the Mania card.
Yeah.
To a degree, I appreciate Triple H having the fan experience in mind of WrestleMania. So it's not 2 5-hour shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It seems pretty clear that Triple H likes the more succinct pay-per-view events, premium live events. 3.5 hours max.
Yeah.
And if we're going to get 2 days of WrestleMania, 3.5 hours, I think that's, for the most part, a more enjoyable experience as a viewer than sitting through 2 5-hour shows.
As we get rated here on Twitch by Cultaholic. Thanks, fellas. We appreciate it. You know what, dude? I'll be honest with you. I'm firmly against the one-night WrestleMania 8-hour affair. Hated it. Didn't like it. You can go 4 hours a night on WrestleMania, but I get the feeling, he's gonna keep it to like 3.5 each night, and I feel like you can go for, I think, a total 8-hour affair, and maybe add a kickoff show with some matches. I think that's fine. I totally get it, man. I think it's a bummer that there are people out there. I know Karrion Kross recently was vocal about wanting to do more, and he said it in a fairly diplomatic way, as a person who seems competitive and wants to prove themselves, not bitching about the state of where he is in WWE. But there was also a report recently, I think it was Fightful Select, that mentioned was it in this one? The depth thing about how it was Fightful Select talking about a report about people being unhappy, about Triple H being unhappy with returns. And it sort of debunked that, saying instead the whole point of hiring that much more people was because he looked at the way main roster was, and it was the same people all the time, and he needed depth to the card. That's why when people, for example, like Hit Row, who really have not been featured in a very prominent position, or even like Tegan Knox, like we saw last night, they've returned, but they haven't really done a whole lot.
No.
And it's because he wants fresh faces on the show. Well, oftentimes, or Emma, Madcap Moss, well, he wasn't a return, but Emma was a return.
Yeah.
And they're not featured that much, but that's because not everybody can be featured. That being said, I would love them to bring back the battle royals. Start off night 1 with the men or the women's, and night 2 with the men or the women's. It gives an opportunity to, especially in the women's, when it was originally was named after Moolah, and everybody kicked up a fit about that. Find somebody who's got a good legacy and name it after them for the women. And then you've got these 2 annual affairs. I love battle royals. I think they're fantastic and allows people to get on the show. I understand the frustration, but yeah, if Triple H's thing is, hey, number one, Triple H, he's from the era where you need to be a shark, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to prove yourself to work your way up. I still believe this conspiracy theory or not, I don't know. WrestleMania 32 was Triple H trying to force Roman to step up because everybody's going to cheer when you do the crotch chop, and that's what Triple H was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe it's a matter of, hey, you guys need to step up. It'll be interesting to see what the final card ends up being.
Yeah.
But if any obvious feuds are left off, like for example, you and I, especially after SmackDown, feel that Dom versus Ray, that's got to happen at WrestleMania.
So. Yeah.
That to me would be extremely weird if that didn't happen at WrestleMania.
Whether it be a one-on-one match, I wonder if there's a possibility that rather than do a one-on-one bout between Ray and Dom, if they want to avoid that for whatever reason, they can do Ray and Santos versus Dom and Damian Priest, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Make it a tag match. No, I really enjoyed that they did the Battle Royals because we love Battle Royals here going on the Mania cards. If you kick off the show with Battle Royals each night, I think that's a good idea. You get many people in there, and it doesn't add a ton of time necessarily to the show. You usually get those done in 15, 20 minutes, and it's a relatively enjoyable 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a balancing act between getting the show length kind of where Triple H wants it.
Mm-hmm.
Shorter, probably on the shorter side of things,
versus
getting as many people involved as he can.
Yeah. I mean, look, if the idea is I don't want any filler, I mean, dude, those NXT takeovers, you look at those, no filler, just banger matches. And that evidently is what he wants with WrestleMania. Every match has to be worthy of a WrestleMania slot. I don't think that's a terrible philosophy. I really don't. I like Battle Royals. So if it was me, if I had the book, so to speak, I'd put it in there. But in fact, today on Wrestle Juice, I did a video where I rebooked WrestleMania.
I saw you did. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I saw you did that.
Of course, great. It's absolutely great.
Of course, without a doubt.
I haven't had a chance to watch. I don't expect you to watch my shit.
It'd be cool. Well, I like to sometimes. It'd be cool if they have the 2 Battle Royals at WrestleMania, and rather than just them having to get a trophy for winning it, like you.
Oh, get something, yeah.
You get first crack at the champ or something like that after WrestleMania.
Get a shot or something. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. It shouldn't just be you get this trophy and then a star is born, because that was never the case. Like it was Baron Corbin, Cesaro, Madcap Moss. I forget who else won that thing.
Yeah,
but
did Mojo win one year?
Oh my God, did he?
That year that Gronk was in the crowd and jumped the barricade, and security didn't know he was gonna jump the barricade, and they tried to hold him back.
Wow. Yeah, that could be. I mean, this year it'd have to be LA Knight if they did.
Yeah, I mean it's in LA.
Yeah. But right now it doesn't look like, for example, the New Day are going to be at WrestleMania. Now I expect them to maybe do some backstage stuff, perhaps. Mm-hmm. But that's a pretty big name. That's not going to be. That's right now not in anything unless it's going to be a handicap match, New Day versus LA Knight, or LA Knight's going to find a partner. Who would partner with that guy?
I don't know. He seemingly has no friends.
Right. But yeah, you can't argue with sending people home or people turning off their Peacock and thinking, man, nothing on that card shouldn't have been there. Like that whole thing was fantastic from beginning to end. No bathroom break matches or nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah. Can't argue with that, I guess.
Nope. I said it's a balancing act, and I'm sure Triple H wants to get as many people on there as he can, but he has his philosophy in terms of how shows should be booked, and how long each show should run, evidently, and I feel like at the end of the day he's going to adhere to that.
Yeah, I love you too. At the end of the day, that's one of my favorites. Let me tell you something. So speaking of somebody who might be at WrestleMania next year, Kenny Omega might be signing with WWE, or at least he's open to it. There's been a lot of talk lately about the possibility of the cleaner jumping ship to WWE once his AEW contract expires later this year. On the latest PW Torch audio show, Wade Keller stated that WWE believes that the cleaner is open to joining the company. He says this, and these transcripts come to you via WrestlingNews.co. I haven't independently verified rumors of WWE being interested in Omega. I have confirmed they're aware of Omega's open-mindedness to come to WWE. That's what I've been told, that he's open-minded to landing in WWE before his career is over. The attitude is not, I love AEW, I'm going to stay here forever. That is not apparently the belief within WWE. They don't believe that Kenny's mindset at this point. Omega is valued within WWE from what I can ascertain by people whose opinions count, but he is not seen at this stage as a wrestler who is so good in the ring that they're just going to do anything to get him. I think they're very happy with the roster. I think they have a lot of great wrestlers who are at Kenny's level. Kenny would be a good addition. I know there is a curiosity and intrigue about what they could do with him if they were able to direct him a little bit better, because his character work in 3+ years of Dynamite has not been particularly compelling. In terms of being, by the way, this is not me speaking. We're going to have a lot to talk about this. In terms of being a weekly TV series character, that's something that WWE would be, I think, excited to explore creatively with him. But I don't think he would come in and be seen as a guy who they think are just going to track to headline WrestleMania like Cody has gotten. I think there's a belief there's more to Cody, more of a future, given Cody's age and wear and tear on his body being less. And just as a WWE-ready character and promo, that there's more turnkey main event multi-year potential in Cody than Kenny, end quote.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with the idea that his character work on Dynamite hasn't been compelling. I think a lot of the stuff he did as the belt collector was really good.
So I believe that too. However, I've seen plenty of mixed opinions on that aspect of things. He is one of the top in-ring wrestlers on the planet right now.
Yes,
I mean, that
still.
I don't think can be debated. If what he's saying in that section of it is actual opinion within people that have influence in WWE, that they think, oh yeah, he's as good as some of our guys. He's like one of the best in-ring guys.
Yeah, he's probably still top 10. Even though he's got years of wear and tear. Of wrestling, a really physical style. Is he as explosive as he used to be? No, but he's still wildly creative with how he puts together his matches, and he's still a damn good storyteller.
Oh, he's phenomenal. He is absolutely somebody who you'd want in there with AJ, with Seth, with Finn, with all,
With Roman,
I love his character work. I really do. I understand that it's not the most WWE sort of thing in the world. I get that.
Apart from the belt collector stuff, I'd agree. But the belt collector stuff, a lot of that was so over the top.
I loved it.
That kind of stuff seems the perfect fit for the more sports entertainment aspect of WWE. Like we come out every week and like the really ornate blazers and expensive looking shoes. But he was really dialing up the obnoxious aspects of his heel character. That really worked.
Maybe they see it as being a bit too satirical, I guess, maybe in a way a little too over the top. I'm not saying what WWE does is grounded necessarily, but I can see a difference in their approach to what that was. I kind of get that. But I don't know. I think Kenny'd be one of those guys who, and I forget if this was ever the perception with AJ Styles, what the expectation there was. But I think Kenny Omega coming in could be, and again, it is different because he's a bit on the older side. And I don't remember how old AJ was when he came in versus Kenny now.
2016 when AJ did.
What is he, like 44 now or something? He's like our age, isn't he?
Yeah,
around our age.
He's 45. Yeah,
he's 45 now. So 2016,
he would have been 7 years ago. 38. So Kenny's a couple years older.
Okay, so just a couple years. Is Kenny 40 by now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he's approaching it.
I mean, it's in the same ballpark, and you saw how much AJ Styles had to give at that time. And I know there's like maybe more wear and tear on Kenny's body just from the style of wrestling that he employed in New Japan.
Dude, I don't know. You see some of the stuff that AJ was doing in
TNA
and Impact. He was wrestling physical style. So Kenny's 39. He's not quite 40.
Okay. All right. So that's comparable.
He will turn 40 this year.
But and especially also given what he had just gone, I don't remember if AJ had the litany of injuries that Kenny had racked up.
I don't know either.
And then just had to come back from. In any event, I think Kenny Omega is absolutely a unique individual who would do killer in WWE. I think he would outperform every expectation there was of him, and I think he'd have a lot of fun doing it. I think the crowd would absolutely connect with him. And if they have low expectations and he comes in and does what he does, I think that their expectations are I think that he'll blast past whatever ceiling they might think he has for him.
Yeah.
And if it's Triple H in charge still, I think he's the kind of guy who would notice and run with it. I really do. Now, whether or not he'd, main event Mania, whether or not he'd be a Cody type guy, I don't know. But I think the potential is absolutely there, especially if they split the titles. Especially if they split the titles.
I mean, from an in-ring perspective, Kenny at this juncture, not to say Cody's a bad wrestler, but I personally find Kenny to be a more compelling in-ring competitor.
I do too, absolutely.
And promo work, there's quite a difference stylistically. But in the right situation with the right character, I feel like Kenny's every bit as good a promo as Cody is. I understand Cody is he's really tailored.
Cody's a really good promo.
He can be a really good promo. He can just kind of meander on for a while too, which is most of what he did in AEW.
He's quite verbose though.
He is.
He's got a large vocabulary.
A lot of florid language he tosses in there. I know. But I understand from WWE's perspective, Cody is very much, even though he's been out of WWE for 7 years, still very much a WWE type superstar.
Again, I say this, dude. And I say this about Jay White. I'll say it about Kenny Omega. Join Judgment Day. Because Judgment Day kind of does the over-the-top cartoonish villain thing. And they do it. I'm speaking mainly of Finn, but also Damian tries to keep up. And Dom, God, dude, that segment on SmackDown was awfully meandering, but Dom cracks me up. Everything he says just absolutely cracks me up. But Kenny and Finn doing the over-the-top villain thing would be so much fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
It would be ridiculous fun. And I think purple would look pretty good on the cleaner. But yeah, interesting because what we were talking about the other day as well, on Friday, I believe it was, or Thursday, something like that, was what's Kenny's mindset? Does he want to build AEW? If the idea is, hey, I'd love to give a shot at WWE, which just makes sense. I'd love to give a shot at WWE. I don't know if a lot of it maybe depends on where the company is come November or December or whatever. But yeah, if the status quo remains, then I could see WWE. I mean, taking another member of the Elite, if you consider Cody as the Elite, taking another member of the Elite from AEW, arguably like the heart and soul of the Elite, Kenny Omega, and where Kenny goes, the Bucks could follow. Coming off of 2 months where Matt Jackson said his worst 2 months of his life, and they still haven't released CM Punk. If they bring him back, I wonder. I don't know how much of an issue that's going to be if they keep Punk, if he comes back, and the Elite aren't huge on that. I don't know. A lot of crazy things are going to happen this year and next, man.
It is the end of 2023 and beginning of 2024 is going to be pretty wild in terms of seeing where talent lands. Let's talk about this. So we're going to get a Sami Zayn Roman Reigns rematch. It's just not going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. It is going to happen though, March 4th at a WWE live event in Toronto, Canada. Is Sami going to get some sort of W over Roman Reigns at this house show?
Well, I'm sorry.
Not going to pin him.
When is it? March
4th. So this Saturday.
March.
Not going to pin him. But could like a DQ, a count out.
No, not a chance. No.
Right.
At best, a double DQ. At best, a double count out. But
would they dare do like some sort of story beat at the house show and then tape it and then show it on Raw or SmackDown?
Entirely possible, as long as it fuels. I gotta be careful with that. As long as it fuels the Uso storyline, because they're all obviously full head of steam on full steam ahead on Usos versus Sami and Kevin Owens. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll just mirror what they did at Elimination Chamber with wonkiness, and Sami kicks out of a ton of stuff. But yeah, you know what they might do. This is what they might do. Yeah, they tape it for that. the finish sees, instead of mirroring what they did before. Well, I guess Jimmy did get involved. He gave him a bunch of super kicks. That was before the finish of the match. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they show Jay hemming and hawing.
Yeah.
Not sure if he wants to participate in this, and they do a little bit more of that. Maybe that'll beef up the story a little bit, and it'll just add more shit to Jay, Jimmy, and Sami.
Yeah, maybe.
I could see them doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good idea to do not obviously huge story beats at house shows because half the time they're considered non-canon, but you have things that are somewhat essential happen on house shows. You tape it, you show it on Raw or SmackDown. It's sort of like when AJ won the U.S. title at Madison Square Garden house show a few years back.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You make people think, oh, these house shows, I mean, beyond being fun because the wrestlers kind of break character a little bit, things might actually happen at these shows.
Yeah, dude.
And if you're trying to give your live event business a little kick in the pants, have things happen, non-essential things, but things happen that people want to be a part of.
Yeah, man. Diesel and Bob Backlund.
Yes.
That was like a million years ago. That was so long ago. But yeah, no, absolutely. Especially these days, tape it properly and everything, and then you put it on TV, and it's like, oh, wow, I want to go check out WWE Live. Yeah. How much are those front row tickets? What?
$500, yeah.
$500?
You get to go backstage. You get to keep a chair, too.
Oh, you get to go back? Really? You get to go back? Oh, they have meet and greets, huh?
So. Well, at least that's what they used to. They did.
Oh, man. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the curtain call. That was a house show. Madison Square Garden.
So apparently a lot of people have won the U.S. title at house shows. Yeah, that's kind of like I guess that's the house show title.
Oh, yeah. They really should do that. They should make a house show title. That'd not the U.S. title.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Make it look like that ugly, that beautiful. I don't know if it's ugly or beautiful. What's your stance on the New Japan Television title, dude? I know, right? Just heavy side. That's your stance. That's my stance, too.
It's the feelings are complex.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Elements I can appreciate, but also at the same time, it looks kind of cheap.
Because it's ugly, but it's also beautiful at the same time.
It's like classically ugly.
Right. Yeah. Hulk Hogan for 1 week in 1986 had a title with his face on it. It was like an old NWA one with a smiling face on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like a temporary title. I learned that on the internet.
Internet's something else, huh?
Well, no, I did like a Wrestle Juice video on titles on like the WWE Signature Series on WWE Shop.
Yeah.
And last night, Bama doesn't watch my stuff. She likes watching Minecraft videos, but like I popped it on for her just to see if she'd be into it, and she was totally into it. I was giving letter grades to these titles.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
not tier ranking.
No, I didn't do tier rank, man. Letter grades. She understands letter grades because she's in school.
Yes.
Because I have her in school. Oh, man. Anyways, before we continue with our SmackDown review, want to give a shout out to some new channel members and returning channel members. Let's see if I still have. Oh, here we go. We've got Higgsmeister General, Alyssa Leggett, Dragon Spaghetti, and Caboose 501st. And then also here, just during the show, at the head of the show, Fazzy Wazzy, a member for 37 months.
It's amazing.
And just a reminder, if you're a YouTube channel member or a patron at $5 and up, you get to participate this week. I think should we open it on like a Wednesday night after Dynamite?
Yeah, we can do that after Dynamite. I'll get the form ready. We'll do it like we did Elimination Chamber. It won't have as many kind of prop bet type things where you have to do the order of things. But I think for a tiebreaker, at least, we should have a couple questions related to the Iron Man match, like what's the final score, overtime, yes or no, that type of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm referring, of course, to our AEW Revolution Predictions Challenge. Big Red, currently owned by Moses Opposes, is the digital Big Red champion. Currently, he's the title holder. Heading into Revolution, that's going to be on the line. Myself and two other friendos,
Antoine Gomez and Dwayne Huff,
are walking in with one extra point. Will that point matter? Probably not. But find out and participate. Yeah,
you wooed.
I did woo. I was watching this weekend. I watched some more NWA stuff. This time, actually, it wasn't NWA's. All California Championship Wrestling.
Oh wow!
From All-Star California Championship Wrestling. From Southern California.
Wow, that's cool.
So Yeah, no, it was fun. We did a let me tell you something count. These dudes who claim they're the Hollywood Blondes, but they're like no iteration of Hollywood Blondes that are on Wikipedia. Were in this promotion, and they kept on dropping let me tell you something just under
what year was it?
86. It was like 85.
Oh, so it would have predated Pillman and Austin as Hollywood Blondes, huh?
I feel like this California Championship Wrestling, they had names. They had like Rocky Johnson was there, a couple others, like a bunch. It was very heavily lucha influenced as well. Like Mil Mascaris was there. Mondo Guerrero was there, but it seemed very removed from like everything east of the whatever Mississippi or whatever. You know, like it seemed very removed from all that stuff. But I don't know. It's always fun to go back and look at that stuff. So yeah, do that. And then, you get access today, because, I didn't feel so hot on Friday. Today we're going to be doing Overrun at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern for $5 and up patrons and, channel members. So check that out.
Yep. Do numbers don't lie on the Hardys.
And then I had an idea for the actual show, but I forget what it was.
Yeah, I forget too.
I'll remember again. Oh, we probably should. Well, no, we're going to do another one. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll do something.
Yeah, we got a couple hours to work all that out.
Exactly.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. There was a human shrunken head on it too, on that episode of California Championship Wrestling. Pretty disturbing. Be sure you hit that thumbs up. We got 500 people watching on the YouTube, so hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and notify bell. Let's talk about SmackDown.
Let's do it. So it's very much been a hard pivot from Sami Roman to
Is that the
Sami.
sound that a hard pivot makes?
Imagine you're on a basketball court. I guess it'd be more of a squeak, but you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
When you make a hard pivot on the court, you got good grip on your shoes. There's the sound.
No, dude, I make a hard pivot on the court. Guess what? You're going to hear, my ankle.
You're going to have face hit
Concrete, pretty much.
Yeah. To Sami and the Usos. Another edition of SmackDown, focusing a lot on Jimmy's angst about his brother's dedication to the Bloodline, and primarily to the Usos as tag team champions.
Yeah, right.
You know, he essentially made a plea to Jimmy in that, or to Jay, sorry, that I need you here with me, and I need you here so we can defend these tag titles.
Yeah.
You know, he's very much looking through things through the prism of, in Bloodline, titles are the primary things that matter. And not to say he takes his brother for granted completely, or you know, because I don't think that's the case, but still, that's, you know, he's been the Bloodline long enough. That's his viewpoint, his perspective. And so, but we didn't really get any resolution to the Jay aspect of it. Though we did see Sami come to the ring and appeal to Jimmy in that, from the very beginning, you're the one that had my back in the Bloodline. We were the first to really hit it off and become friends. And he really tried to tell Jimmy, you're being manipulated. You have been manipulated. And you don't have to go down with the ship when this whole thing crumbles and ends. Basically the same thing he said to Jay.
Yeah.
Jimmy's response was complete 180.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He whacked Sami over the head with a mic, and proceeded to beat him down. I did think Jimmy, though, you know, he when Sami was pleading with him, was like, well, you know, you had no hesitation in terms of attacking me at the Rumble, and Jimmy's like, don't blame me for your decision. That was your choice you made. I didn't make that choice for you. What do you expect? This is my family.
Yeah. You
know, so I like that it's not just such a stark contrast between someone who's completely virtuous and someone who's completely evil.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of shades of gray in between where you listen to Jimmy talking like, okay, I understand his point of view.
Jimmy's always, and this is the one thing that I love about the Bloodline storyline going back years now, is that they've really, and I've mentioned this before, they have really drawn a line of delineation between Jay and Jimmy, in that Jay has a much harder time blindly following in the name of family. His brother's one thing, but his cousin, being as manipulative as he is, Jay has a much harder time with that. Jimmy is much more, hey, look, I'm not your bitch, but I'm going to follow you because this is family. And as long as I get mine, I'm okay with that. And that's why he was
good. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why he was okay accepting Sami, because he didn't really accept him. He accepted him until it wasn't convenient for the family.
So you
and it's like,
yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, because now I want to hear what you say.
So there's that segment a couple months back where Jimmy's talking to Roman, I think. And they're in the locker room. And he was like, hey, I really like Sami. You know, he's my dog.
Yeah. But yeah,
I really love my family.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was before Jay even really accepted Sami.
Yeah.
You know, even back then they were making that delineation with Jimmy. It's like, I really like Sami. Sami's great. Not as great as my family is.
He's like, Jimmy, Sami's not going to do us any harm. And if he does, guess what? Like that. So why not bring him in? Why not bring somebody in that we can manipulate? Why not bring somebody in who can basically be, you know, kind of our gopher, if you will, you know, our errand guy, who seemingly will do anything for us. And yeah, I'll allow myself to emotionally bond with the guy to a degree. You know, it's like the old thing with De Niro and Heat. Don't get so attached to something you can't drop in 30 seconds. Well, that's about how long it took for Jimmy to drop Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Jay is a completely different situation. If Jay is going to get emotionally invested in a person, he's there for the long haul. That's why this is going to be so interesting, because this situation with Jay, he's looking at Sami, and I think Jay is trying to muster up the emotional ability to divorce himself from Sami and his friendship. And that's why he's inactive right now. And that's why what we saw on SmackDown this week was Jay. He was there. He heard Sami out. He understands Sami, but at the end of the day, this is family, and that's what's ultimately going to make Jay decide. Plus maybe a little bit of, he's terrified of Roman. Look what Roman broke him down.
Yeah.
You know, and who knows what's going to happen next week. Of course, Roman's going to be there. I'm sure he's going to be in Jay's ear. And we'll see. I mean, he had the opportunity. Elimination Chamber to hit Roman in the back with that chair. But the old saying, what happens if I got it from The Usual Suspects. What happens if you try to shoot the devil and you miss? That's a dangerous ground right there.
It is.
It's going to be interesting to see how Roman coming back affects the dynamic and what everybody has to say about this. And with Roman coming back next week, are they going to want too much interaction with him and Sami, or are they going to want Cody there to, I have no idea what Heyman's going to do with Cody this week, because Cody said, don't send this guy back. I fully expect Heyman to do that, to come back. And maybe this will be the breaking point where Cody says, hey, guess what? I told you not to send Heyman. Well, I'm going to go show up on SmackDown now.
Yeah, because I don't think there's Roman's not gonna willingly go to Raw to confront Cody. Cody has to come to him.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I'm sure that'll be his attitude. Hence why he's sending
Heyman
to Raw to do the build early on. And I think it's smart for them to build Cody and Roman separate from them doing a promo off in the ring. You know, that should only happen maybe a week or two before WrestleMania itself. Do what you can.
Yeah.
To really build up that first interaction to something huge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that has got to be Cody and Roman in the ring together has got to be a real special thing where nobody in the crowd is thinking about chanting Sami's name, which I'll be honest with you, man. I look at these crowds and I think that's kind of an internet thing. Like, I don't really see that those crowds really wanting to chant Sami Zayn at Cody. They did a couple of weeks ago because Sami was about to have a match with Roman. We didn't get much of an opportunity because they cut it short with Paul Heyman. But it's not like, I mean, there's nothing keeping the crowd from chanting Sami Zayn during the entirety of Heyman and Cody.
Yeah.
They totally could have done that if the general audience wants to try to, swing this the other way. But I think they've done a good job in keeping that from happening by featuring Sami when they feature him and in the role that he is featured.
I mean, I guess the only potential pratfall I could see in that is if this pivot to the Usos in a week or two doesn't resonate with the fan base as strongly as Sami going after Roman, then there could potentially, I'm not saying there will be, could potentially be a little bit of backlash.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll put it this way. I think that any backlash would just be sort of the bloom coming off the Sami Zayn rose, because all this. So like this week on SmackDown, I really liked what I saw, but obviously it lacked, because we're sort of in a pivot point in the story. It lacked the sizzle of the the trial or the t-shirt segment. It lacked the sizzle of, oh my God, what's going to happen? It was, okay, let's hear them out and see where this is going to go. I think as long as whenever Jay makes his big decision, as long as that's at a big moment, like a big, inflection point or whatever you want to call it, I think the crowd will become invested in the Sami versus Usos, and then they're all going to be dying to want to see Kevin Owens jump back into the fray. Yeah. So as long as they keep Sami focused on the Usos, I don't think the crowd's going to, I think the live crowd at least is generally just going to be like, yeah, no, man, Cody's our guy. He's going to take on Roman Reigns. We want to see the bloodline fall. And I still think Sami's going to have a heavy hand in that happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I guess we could jump into it. Show kicked off with Kayla back in like the entry area of the arena. She's waiting for Jimmy to show up. He does walk in. She asks, have you spoken to Jay? And he says, I haven't spoken to my brother yet. I've texted him, called him, left a voicemail. Told him he could meet me in the middle of that ring tonight. I told him whatever he needed to get off his chest, he could look at me in my face and he could tell me. And he walks off.
Yeah, done a good job here too. You know what I like about it is that given that Jimmy hasn't had as sort of complex a role as Jay has had, it's good to see him over the past couple of weeks as Jay has distanced himself from Jimmy. It's good to see Jimmy as a fully fleshed character deal with that and get to express himself and how he feels about all that kind of stuff. And of course, Solo is just there like a statue. After that, we had Braun Strowman, Madcap Moss, and Ricochet taking on Imperium.
What did I tell you? I told you Moss was eating this pin. And you're like, nah, Vinci's going to take the loss here.
You never told me that.
I did. I tell you that.
I watched it. No, okay, no. I'm sorry. I watched it back and you told Triple H that.
Oh, well.
It's not. I was doing paperwork. I called this one too. I totally thought that was going to happen. Triple H was throwing you a swerve, evidently, is all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. You were trying to throw me a swerve, huh?
Anyways. So yeah, Madcap Moss, as you had correctly pointed out to Triple H and not myself, took the loss here.
Say that.
It was not. Yeah, no, because that's, factual. I don't like the, asides, the verbal asides here. Don't like it. But no, Vinci didn't get the loss here. But at a certain point during the match, Drew came out and started strip. He wants a little piece of Gunther. And the Viking Raiders are still just nipping at his heels, man.
Yeah, I know.
These guys, sorry, Viking Raiders, you're not going to WrestleMania, okay? It's going to be Drew and Sheamus versus Gunther. We got to get to that point. Enough with this Viking Raider stuff, man.
Yeah, I know. Maybe they got to have Drew and Gunther team up to take out the Viking Raiders. Just like, all right, get out of the way so we can have our match.
We want this match. That's going to be a killer match, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Talking about physical, they're going to beat the hell out of each other. And then we got a Rey Mysterio interview. He says, tonight I'm going to make sure to put an end to Karrion Kross once and for all. Santos Escobar steps in and says, there's one thing Legado del Fantasma and my family values, and that's respect. I had the honor of receiving a mask from the legendary Rey Mysterio. I want to show the universe how much I respect you. And Rey says, that's a mutual feeling. And then Dom and Rhea steps in.
I love, by the way, Dom was wearing a backpack, which was such a, man, he didn't wear it later on in the promo, but it was such a small little thing. Because he comes across as just a piece of shit kid.
Yeah,
I know. Oh, it was such a great little bit. And then the little camera turn. So you go ahead and
so Dom says, oh, how pathetic. Let me ask you this, Santos. How long are you going to keep kissing up to the legendary Rey Mysterio even after Cross puts him to sleep tonight? So Santos says, hey, if you need to learn some respect for your father, I'll teach it to you. And Dom says, yeah, those in prison who don't back up what they said get dealt with. And then Santos turns to Rey and laughs.
And then the camera tracks with them and then comes back when Santos looks back. And now Rhea is standing in front of Dom, and Dom's got a big smile on his face.
Yeah. So then Dom wishes Rey luck, and Santos tells Rey, hey, don't let that bother you. You know who you are. And Rey responds, how can I not let that bother me? That's my son. Do you notice what Santos is wearing, though? White suit, black shirt, purple tie.
Ooh, I did not notice that. Look at that. Are they going to merge Legato and Judgment Day? Oh, like I kind of like that. That's good. Yeah, I just wait. You think Legato's going to factor in the WrestleMania match instead of just being Dom versus Ray?
I mean, I think there's a chance they do Ray and Santos versus Dom and Priest.
Ray and Santos versus Dom and Priest. Yeah, that's a possibility. Get Priest on the card. As a part of my little Wrestle Juice video, should be mask versus hair. Could you imagine Dom with a shaved head?
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be awesome stipulation.
I know.
Maybe they do the tag match. Santos turns on Ray. And so you get that little mini feud, and then maybe like a SummerSlam. You could do something like mask versus hair between Ray and Dom.
That'd be killer. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. After that, we've got Jimmy. He's with Solo in the Bloodline locker room. Paul is there as well. Jimmy says, since the Royal Rumble, things have been getting crazy. A few weeks ago, when we were defending those tag team titles, I knew Jay was going to be there for us. But since Montreal, man, I don't know, it feels different. I think he might be spooked over this whole Sami thing. And then Heyman sits between Solo and Jimmy and says, if that's the case, why doesn't Solo stay back here with me and you handle Jay face to face, man to man, Uso to Uso personally? And then Jimmy shakes his head and says,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, time for an LA Knight promo. Let me talk to ya. 'Tis the season. Everybody's back there talking about their Mania moment. Oh, I just want to have a Mania moment. I didn't come here for a Mania moment. Good, because you're not going to get one. I came here to make money. I came here to win titles, and I came here to be recognized as the best. Yeah. How do I do that? By going to WrestleMania. Yeah.
I wrote all those yeahs in there.
Wait a second. I love that you did. Wait a second. This fool comes out and says, I didn't come out here for WrestleMania moment. I'm going to WrestleMania. So he says, you can't have an LA WrestleMania without LA Knight. Yeah. And the crowd goes, yeah. He says, now what that means is I'm going to give WrestleMania an LA Knight moment. Yeah. So he's interrupted by the New Day. Kofi mocks LA Knight a little bit, says, I want to have a WrestleMania moment. Hand it to me now. He says, I don't think he understands how this whole thing works. As a matter of fact, haven't you only been on the roster for 2.5 months or so? Or are you to be demanding anything right now? Knight says, hold on a second. I don't recall inviting the Nerd Day down here. Yeah. If you guys weren't so busy playing your video games, you might look in this ring and realize you're looking at a perpetual motion machine. The man with the undeniable Kavorka and the man they call the megastar LA Knight. Yeah. Crowd says, yeah.
Yeah, that Xavier Woods says, well, first off, being nerds has made us a hell of a lot of money. Second, you're here talking about handouts, and we can see here by looking at you, you love handouts considering the fake leather vest you got going on right now.
It's a low blow right there, man.
Yeah, it is. He says Mania moments are not handed out. They are earned. Case in point, one Kofi Kingston. This man fought for 11 years to get his moment, and when he did, he turned it to the best Mania moment of all time.
Fake leather, huh? Nah, because here's what I'm looking at. I don't care about your past. I don't care about what you did. I'm a creator of circumstance, not a creature of circumstance. And the circumstance I create is a circumstance that's advantageous to LA Knight. By the way, Kofi, how'd Kofi Mania work out for you anyway?
Kofi says, well, he actually worked out pretty good. I won the WWE title on the grandest stage of them all.
Good point.
And I was not waiting for a Mania moment. I was fighting in the ring and behind the scenes. What I won't wait for is a chance to shut your ass up right now. So LA Knight laughs. The crowd starts chanting New Day rocks. Yeah. And what does LA Knight say, Steve?
All right, if they're feeling so froggy about it, is that a challenge? And Kofi says, yeah. And then they get a match going. LA Knight loses that match.
Yeah, he does. He does.
I love all the shit talk with him and Woods, though. He was just giving so much. Why don't you go ahead and blow your trombone there?
Yeah, it was pretty great. And then that's what Woods did. He blared his trombone right in LA Knight's face to distract him, but he's on the top rope. So Kofi crotches LA Knight over the top turnbuckle, follows with a Trouble in Paradise to get that W.
So, dude, I have no idea how we'd be able to answer this question. Where is this going? Like, is there something deeper here? Is it going to be Woods next week? Or like this? I don't feel like this has WrestleMania written on it. Is it just, hey, let's get these guys involved in something for TV?
Yeah.
LA Knight is the sentiment I've seen anyways online is overwhelmingly positive for LA Knight.
Yeah.
People love this guy.
Yeah, he gets himself over wherever he goes.
He does. He really does. Yeah, it's nuts. And that yeah chant, oh man. Once he turns face again, it's going to become the new what?
Mm-hmm.
If they do this correctly 20 years from now, when somebody's in there dropping a promo and they've got typical pro wrestling cadence, the crowd's going to be like, yeah, instead of what?
Yeah.
I think that's the power of LA Knight, man.
Yeah, I think so too. Then we got Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley having a face-to-face in advance of WrestleMania. Charlotte comes out first. She says 35 days to WrestleMania. I know Rhea likes to run her mouth on Raw, so I can't wait to hear what she has to say to my face. All right, Rhea, come on out. No Rhea. So Charlotte continues. She goes, I think I smell hesitation. Rhea, you remember the last time we were in the ring together? It's okay to be scared. Having second thoughts about choosing me, right? So who comes to the ring, Steve?
Oh, man, it's Dom. He comes out, just a chorus of boos. And I love whenever he comes out and they start booing him, he just looks up at the crowd kind of confused. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's amazing. So he comes out and he says, I'm not going to let you run down mommy, my queen. No. And Dom says, look at Dom taking orders. He says, but this is adult time, Dom. So go get your mommy and tell her to come out here and face me like a real woman instead of hiding behind her boy toy. And Dom says, you sound jealous, almost bitter, because you know the hottest thing in WWE right now is Rhea Ripley. No other mamacita has entered the Rumble at number 1 and won it all. Look at that smile. You know, you should smile more often. You're a beautiful woman. What a piece of shit. Who says that shit? You should smile more often. Oh, man. So he says, they say women is the softer sex, delicate, but mommy is strong, real strong. When she hugs me, she damn near breaks my back. And when she makes me, and Charlotte interrupts and says, whoa. I've got a real Latino man at home who calls me mommy with a much thicker accent. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And Dom says, hey, I just wanted to chat. You know, I thought we had a lot in common. And Charlotte's like, okay, like what? He says, we're both generational WWE superstars. You're second generation, I'm third. We both know what it's like to be compared to our fathers, be better than them, surpass them, even though they don't like to see it. But you know what? He says, but you know what I know that my dad was a lot? He was a deadbeat. He didn't even bother showing up. He was an afterthought of a father, and that messed me up. Put a big chip on my shoulder, just like you. But at WrestleMania, when mommy beats you, you'll know your dad was right. You're just not good enough.
Oof. So
this was really good from Dom. This was really good.
It really was. So then Charlotte responds, unlike you, Dom, I love my dad. He's 73 years old. Ashley turns 74 tomorrow, and he can still go. And if he was here, he'd kick your butt. But since he's not, so she drops the mic, takes the title from around her waist. She steps up to Dom. She's about to throw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rhea comes to the ring, steps up to Charlotte. So Dom kind of holds her back. And they leave. And then Charlotte picks up the title and holds it up. Rhea gets back in the ring, gets right in her face, and they talk some crap back and forth. And then Dom again kind of says, all right, let's go. Let's get out of here.
I liked all the Dom and Charlotte stuff. I just thought the end of it just sort of lacked a punctuation that really could have put it over the top. I think that was what it was.
I know. Same here. I felt like Rhea needed to be a bit more confrontational in this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but otherwise, all this, and the great thing about it, the meat of Dom's promo is actually really good, comparing them to each other and using that as a venue to talk about his dad. Obviously, you know, Ric Flair has had his issues with family stuff, but Charlotte still backs him. And I don't know, it is an interesting juxtaposition to see them both in there and him talking like that. But yeah, I really liked the main bulk of this segment. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it was definitely a good showcase for Dom, especially. Then we got Natalya versus Shayna Baszler. So Tegan Nox comes to the ring with Natalya, and they showed why, because earlier in the day, Natalya is telling Adam Pearce that she wants to match against Shayna. And Pearce is like, you got to watch your back. And then Tegan's just in the background doing something. And she overhears it, steps forward, and says, I'll watch your back tonight.
Yeah, I want to be on TV.
And so let's see. Oh yeah, so Natalya ends up losing anyways. Shayna hits Natalya with a running knee, puts on an arm bar. Natalya taps out. And Natalya
had been arguing with Ronda. Like Ronda was a bit of a distraction ringside for her. So
then Tegan gets on the apron, and then Shayna boots her to the floor. Shayna's holding up Natalya, so Ronda could hit her with a running knee, and then Tegan intercepts and then sends Shayna out of the ring. So
yeah, I like the little bit of shit talk from Ronda. She was like, "Who is that?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Listen up, Skittles. You're gonna have what's the Skittles catchphrase? You're gonna taste the rainbow next week or something like that." That's what it was. You're gonna taste the rainbow next week. Oh, that was pretty funny from Ronda Rousey. Anyways,
I did like when Ronda asked, "Who is that?" Then Shayna just goes, "That's Tegan Knox."
I know. A little bit of respect in the name there. I like that. That's Tegan Knox. Okay, Skittles. They're going to taste the rainbow. Anyways, so let's break down this Firefly Funhouse segment.
Oh, there's a lot going on here.
See if we can figure out what's going on at WrestleMania between Bray Wyatt and I guess Bobby Lashley?
I guess. I mean, yeah. So it opens up with a shot of the Funhouse just empty. Nothing's going on. And then you hear Bray say, "Live for me." And so red light then bathes the entire Funhouse, and there's some like metal music playing. And then on the TV, real staticky video, there's a couple hands playing with Undertaker figures.
Yeah.
Which I saw some speculation that those were
Alexa Bliss's hands. Yeah, I saw the same thing. Yeah.
So then we cut backstage to just Bray with a hat on backwards, some glasses on, watching video of his promo calling out Brock and Bobby, and he's just laughing.
Yeah.
And then they cut to Lashley's promo from Raw, and they add some like cartoon sound effects to that. And then we're back to Bray. He's on the set of Funhouse News, and he says, "We got some pretty urgent shit here. Turns out there's a dragon, and it's really bad, but even more importantly, who opened the door?"
So the dragon is also a reference to like an earlier Bray Wyatt promo from, I forget what, but it's just a reference to like one of Bray Wyatt's earlier promos from years ago.
And he says, "Howdy, y'all. It's time for the weather." So you cut to Uncle Howdy at the weather station.
To doing the hand stuff, yeah.
And then it's cut to "Can You Keep a Secret?" hosted by Bray Wyatt.
It's like an old game show looking thing. Yeah.
And he's got a wig on, blonde wig on. He says, "Well, can you?" And so we go back to the Funhouse, and there's just a bunch of weird stuff being projected through the door.
Like fires, like I think some of it is probably like the footage of his house being on fire that one time, and like a bunch of like riot footage and shit like that.
Yeah, a bunch of just crazy stuff. So then Bray asks, "Can you keep a secret?" And there's a woman's voice who says, "Somebody help, please just get away from me." And then you cut to Bray in a mask, and he says, "If I told you a story, could you keep it a secret?"
Yeah, it's probably just an elaborate way of like. I remember, God damn, I saw an article that broke down a couple more of the bits. There was speculation that one of the voices was Eric Young's.
Interesting.
The red lighting and the "Can you keep a secret?" I think was both references to the Fiend. I kind of feel like this is all just like the Fiend, and it's just gonna be like what people keep on referencing Wyatt 6, right? So I feel like it's just gonna be like a like a faction of just Bray Wyatt's weirdos. Like you're gonna have Uncle Howdy in there. You're gonna have the Fiend in there. Maybe Eric Young will play somebody else, although I get the feeling he's going to do a sanity thing.
Rev Lovecraft says the game show announcer's voice was Eric Young.
Ah, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah. So that's kind of crazy. I mean, what if Bray is going to like, look, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross have a big history.
Yeah.
What if it's a merging of Bray and Sanity? That could be a nutty ass faction right there.
Even Damo and Alexander Wolf reunited in Progress this weekend.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, there's some stuff they can do with that. I mean, like with Bray, it always comes back down to, okay, well, what match are they going to do? And they just did a Mountain Dew match. So
yeah, I know.
But I mean, I think with Bray, you know, when we used to talk about, and he used to say this specifically about Bray and how his stuff just seems to fit better with like Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder if we just have to get to a point where like it's like all the stuff in between matches that we should really appreciate as opposed to the actual matches, you know?
Yeah, I know. The matches just seem like obligations as opposed to everything else.
It's like,
and they have been since pretty much the beginning. Ever since he didn't beat John Cena at WrestleMania 30, it's like, okay, the matches aren't really what's important after this point.
Right. He gives us some really, look, and I'm not even saying this is necessarily a bad thing. He gives us, because like, dude, you know, at the end of the day, matches is just a bunch of weirdos running ropes and shit. You know, I know.
You said at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. So, you know, it's people doing silly moves in a ring.
Oh, yeah.
as opposed to, hey, let's watch this cool short film from Bray Wyatt and try to figure out what he's telling us. That's fun in and of itself. The QR code stuff was a lot of fun. And then it's like, okay, where is this going? We have a match. Okay, whatever. Let's get back to like trying to figure out what he's trying to tell us with these cool vignettes, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. After that,
but anyways, getting back to it, like we talked about, like, okay, this is gonna be a factor. What's he gonna do at WrestleMania? The seemingly the more extended bit was Bobby Lashley in this, right? I mean, I know he made a reference to Brock Lesnar in it, but
yeah. I mean, the fact that he cut to Lashley talking about, no one can break the Hurt Lock, not Brock, not
him,
Bray, and then like cartoon horn noises and stuff like that.
Him watching the monitor with who was it, Lesnar or Lashley on it? Was it what was he when he
was? It was his promo he was watching.
It was his promo he was watching where he was saying, Lesnar or Lashley, whoever gets out of that match. Yeah. And I wonder, is that meant to be like, was he trolling us saying that? Was he leading us on this road of, okay, we're supposed to believe that he's going to take on Lashley or Lesnar? That's why I still kind of feel like it's going to be Lesnar versus Lashley at Mania because look, what you said last week, I was like, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I would not be shocked to see Lesnar F5 Amos, grab MVP and say, give me Lashley again. Or maybe MVP is using Amos as, bait for Lashley to come out and attack Lesnar again because of the way that last match ended.
Yeah.
And then they still do WrestleMania, and Bray's been trolling us this whole time.
That could be. That'd be something else, though, if him watching the promo and just laughing. But then they cut to Lashley's promo from Raw last week. And with all the cartoon sound effects in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy stuff. After that, we were back to the Bloodline's locker room. Jimmy tells Solo he's nervous. He says, I know he'll be there. Show up like he did at our tag match. Then we can hash things out face to face personally. Heyman leans in and says, I hope so, because look at this text I got from Roman. He'll be here live next week on SmackDown. He wants you to know that you need to handle Jay tonight, or Roman will handle Jay for you next week personally.
They're really leaning into the personally since the Cody stuff.
Yeah.
So then we got Rey Mysterio versus Karrion Kross. Rey Mysterio did not put an end to Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross did put Rey Mysterio to sleep with Cross Jacket, and that's because of Dom. Because he shows up ringside as Rey is going for a 619. He catches Rey's legs, pulls him on the floor. And he's like, come on, hit me. So Rey can't do it. He gets back in the ring. Cross hammer, Cross Jacket, Karrion Kross wins. Dom gets back in the ring and stands over Rey and tells him, get up and be a man. So Rey gets up and Dom starts pushing him, pie facing him, pushing him, getting right in his face, like saying, hit me, be a man and hit me. And so for a second, Rey gets in Dom's face and actually balls up his fist, but then he backs down. And so he turns away from Dom. Dom spins him around, and Rey still can't hit his son. Rolls out of the ring, and the crowd boos.
They booed him because they want him to hit Dom.
Yeah.
People want to see people do cool stuff, not punk out. But it's his ego. It's his kid, man.
Yeah, it's his son. I mean,
yeah, it's going to mean a lot when he punches him. It's got to be on the grandest stage. Him punching his son has to be on the grandest stage of them all.
Oh my gosh,
that's where that has to go. He's not a child. He's a grown man.
Yes, I'm aware.
Anyways, after that, Jimmy Uso comes out for a promo. We're here at the main event segment. He says, so if you're not here, he's addressing Jay. He says, I know you're out there watching somewhere. From brother to brother, I know you're torn. I know you're hurt. And when you hurt, I hurt. I just want to tell you, I'll always be here for you. I need you to be here for me right now. They're talking. People are saying there are cracks in the bloodline. I know there are issues going on. Everything's been crazy. We got a Sami Zayn problem. We got a Kevin Owens problem. Me and you got to defend these tag team championships. And on top of that, I know you got issues with the tribal chief. And then hooded Sami Zayn hops the barricade. And as Jimmy continues and says, and I can't do this alone. So Sami gets in the ring. Would you like to take on the part of Sami Zayn?
I'll be Sami Zayn. He says, I'm not here to fight. I know you want to talk to Jay, and trust me, I want to talk to him too, but right now I need to talk to you. Because every time I hear you use that word brother, that breaks my heart, man, because that's what you were to me. You were my dog. Remember that? We were dogs. You had my back at the bloodline from day one. When Jay didn't trust me, you did. When Paul Heyman saw no value in me and shooed me from Roman's locker room, you saw value in me. You were the one who made me the honorary Uso. Remember that? Without you, there is no honorary Uso. There's no Sami Uso. There's no feeling Usi. When things went south at the Rumble, you didn't even think twice. You took me down with zero hesitation. Jimmy, I have to let you know, man, that hurt. And so Jimmy just scowls at Sami.
Yeah, and he says, you're so damn selfish. I love this here. He says, you're so damn selfish. You want to blame me? You want to put the blame on me? It was you. You were the one who made that choice. You had that chair in your hand. You were the one who pulled the trigger. You were the one who made the choice. You stepped on me and you stepped on Jay. What was I supposed to do? You made the choice and I did what I had to do. That's what family does. But you know what family doesn't do? They don't betray you.
And then Sami says, let me tell you what else family doesn't do. They don't make you test your loyalty every single week. They don't make you jump through hoops just to prove that you're worth something. They don't manipulate you every single week like Roman did to me, the way Roman has done to your twin. That's what he did, not for weeks, not for months, but for years. And the crowd starts cheering. And then Sami looks up towards the crowd, and the camera pans out, and Jay is standing there, like towards the entrance of the arena in the crowd. So Sami says, listen to me. The bloodline is not about Roman. The bloodline is about one man. I'm going to make sure, if it's the last thing I do, that Roman, the bloodline, comes crumbling down. But there's a way out for you, okay? Just like I told Jay, there's a way out for you. You don't have to go down with the ship. And I'm looking you in your eyes, and I know you know what I'm saying is true. And Sami looks up at Jay again. And Jimmy takes opportunity to punch Sami with the microphone.
Yeah.
And then hits a bunch of shots. And Jay's walking down towards the ring. And Jimmy turns towards Jay. He's like, come on, get in here. I need you. And right as Jimmy's about to turn around and look at Sami again, Sami hits him with the haluva kick.
Yeah.
So Jay, at this point, Jay's standing behind the barricade. Solo runs to the ring. Sami sees him, so he runs out of the ring. And when he gets out of the ring, he's basically face to face with Jay.
Yeah, right.
And they share a bit of a glance, and then Sami realizes he has to get out of there, and he, escapes through the crowd elsewhere. Yeah.
I like how this segment was executed largely because Sami got on a haluva kick. He's a man of action. And that's what we all want in wrestling. He's a man of action. The crowd booed Ray because he's not a man of action. He's got to punch his child on the largest stage of them all. They're going to have to get used to that because we're not going to see that until it's just going to make it's going to make him punching his child even more of a moment there, Larson.
I suppose.
His child is a grown man. He's a grown man.
Yeah. And it's a good touch to have Jay there live, witness Sami hit his finisher on his brother.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. Jimmy's making good points. He's making good points. They're the longest reigning tag team champions. And that's largely because of their association with the tribal chief. And at the end of the day, it's family. They're family. And Sami hit Roman with the chair. And as much as that might have inspired Jay can't do the same. It's inevitable. Like it's just that's he's gonna side with his brother, of course.
Yep. Not with Roman, with his brother.
I just wonder, like, the thing about this whole feud, now that we've pivoted to Sami and Kevin Owens versus the Usos, the titles feel so beneath this. It's like, I understand Heyman has made a big deal about the titles. Jimmy's made a big deal about the titles. But like the titles feel, unless Roman says something like, you need to prove yourself by putting them up. It's just the titles feel like such an afterthought. The tag titles feel like such an afterthought in this feud. It's all about proving yourself and family and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see how they make the match. I mean, it's obvious to make them for the titles. Titles have to be defended at WrestleMania, but it seems like such an afterthought to add, we're going to fight you guys for the titles at WrestleMania. It's like so much less than, hey.
And all the other stuff that's going on, yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah.
It's much weightier stuff than whether you got a belt on your shoulder.
Some WWEshop.com titles, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Also had Rampage on Friday.
It's always Keith Lee has a new look.
Yeah.
He's got like a white robe. Like kind of a robe with like some gold trim on it. Yeah. Hanging out with Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah.
We had Sammy Guevara versus Action Andretti. So that was the thing.
I mean, like the Young Bucks versus Aussie Open was a lot of fun, but it was a fun match to get to the actual story beat after the match.
Which was just they did the House of Black turns off the lights again.
And then show up and the lights go down again, and then they're gone.
And yeah.
Same old mind games.
I mean, mind games is a very loose term for it. It's just fucking
Attempt
with
at
the
mind
lights.
games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want more, to me, it's sort of just more evidence that the Young Bucks have one foot out the company anyways, because it's like, yeah, we really want to fight Aussie Open, and we're not going to be able to do that kind of stuff in WWE. So let's just get in all our matches with other people that we want to get in now. Let's get them in now because we're going to WWE. That's conspiracy theory, Steve talking.
Conspiracy
right?
Steve, yes.
Conspiracy theory.
Put the tinfoil hat on, Steve.
Conspiracy Steve theory. Hey, there you go.
There you go.
Conspiracy Steve.
So it opened up with the Young Bucks versus Aussie Open. Really fun match. All sorts of crazy, creative stuff.
Yeah.
In this bout. Of course, Young Bucks get the win with the BTE trigger. As we mentioned, lights go down, they come back up. House of Black surrounding the ring. They get on the apron, lights go down, come back up. They're all gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's sort of what they do.
That's it.
Can you see in the darkness? Probably not. You might trip and stub your toe, and then you look like an asshole.
I know you have to limp back up the ramp. Or we're hiding out of the ring too long and our foot falls asleep.
Yeah,
that's the worst.
Anyways, I like this next bit. The Best Friends had an interview, and was it this one? No, it was the one they acclaimed. The team Jeff Jarrett. What are they called? Triple J.
Yeah,
Jeff Jarrett and Jay. They're just running roughshod. They're just causing havoc.
Oh yeah, they're just causing all sorts. They're a menace, an absolute menace backstage.
Yeah, so they're asked. The Best Friends are asked, what are they going to do different in the Casino Battle Royal after coming up short on Dynamite? And Trent says, maybe not have a 95-foot tall basketball man ringside will help because Satnam Singh obviously helped Triple J, and then Big Bill comes in and attacks Trent. Lee goes after Chuck. The guns come in. Austin hits Chuck in the knee with a lead pipe, and then Colton smacks Trent in the head with it. Oh, that's right. This was not Triple J. This is different.
Yeah,
that was later on.
This is the Firm boys. Yeah.
Yeah. So back from commercial, a trainer is checking on Chuck. Danhausen and Bryce Remsburg check on Trent. Orange Cassidy shows up, and Danhausen says, "I bet Jarrett Lethal did this." And Orange asks Bryce, "Hey, who did this?" And he says it was the Guns, Moriarty, and Big Bill. And so Orange he's not happy about that.
Yeah. Then we got Tony Storm versus Willow Nightingale. It's a really fun bout. Saraya got on the apron to distract Willow as she's about to hit her finish. And this led to Tony hitting Willow with a chop block because Willow brings Saraya in the ring, but they hit her with the Dr. Bomb. Mm-hmm. Tony hits Willow with a chop block, storms there to get the win. Afterwards, Saraya gets a spray paint and brings it into the ring. Ruby Soho runs to the ring to make the save. Mm-hmm. And as Tony and Saraya are looking to run up the ramp to escape, they're met there by Britt and Jamie Hayter. Mm-hmm. And so Jamie chases Saraya around the ring, all the way around, before she catches up with her at the foot of the ramp, blasting from behind. They all end up brawling backstage.
Yeah, yeah. And then Ruby's just left by herself in the ring. Oh, she helps up Willow, but then she's doing the discount double check. Yeah. She's like, "Where I'm in this title match. Why am I just standing here in the ring by myself?"
Yeah. Yeah.
So, no more clues as to which side she's going to choose.
Well, she's definitely not choosing, you would think, Saraya and Tony's side at this point because she came out to make the save for Willow.
You'd think. You'd think, but she
there was
wasn't.
No physicality there.
She wasn't with Willow when Willow took that loss, and she could have helped her get a dub, but she wasn't there.
Who knows?
After that, we had an Acclaimed interview, and Bones is like, "Yeah, we're feeling good. As far as Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett go, we've been there and done that. I said you could put anybody in this match, we'll knock them on their asses, so we're not scared of anybody." Caster says, "That's right. They're just a bunch of wrestlers, a bunch of carnies. Frankly, a bunch of big bitches. So I don't think we're going to have a lot of trouble." And then Billy says, "As far as that gigantic baby," and then he's grabbed by somebody off frame, and it's the gigantic baby, Satnam Singh. He throws Billy into the door. Lethal and Jarrett and Dutt land to the Acclaimed. It was kind of great because Jay Lethal has Caster in the figure 4.
Yeah.
And then Sanjay Dutt comes and attacks him with a pencil on the head. He's like, "We're making a statement. We're making a statement. Take his eye. Take his eye out. We're making a statement." I love Jay Lethal. He's great. And Jarrett has already taken out Bowens. He's just walking around stomping people.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
It is pretty great. Then we got a Jade Cargill promo. She says, I'm 53-0. I beat the likes of Nyla Rose to Athena. And at this point, who's left? I've asked your favorites to come down and meet me. And if you ask me, they're all afraid. I have the belt, so I think everyone needs to come and see me. But we're in this division for an entire year. Jade Cargill is a star in this company, and I'm undeniable. Your favorites should be begging me for a match, so I welcome all competition.
They're all in the other division.
I know.
They're all in the world title. Like there's like a million of them. They're all just doing that stuff right there. I think Jade might want to go over there instead of just expecting people to come through the door, because it's going to be like a bunch of like elevation people coming to meet Jade. I have no, unless they have like a new signee for Revolution for her. But I don't know who, like, my brain is mush right now. Is there anybody like out there that?
Not that I can think of, no.
All right. That's whack. Anyways, after that, we had Lance Archer versus Bryce Saturn. I come from Saturn.
What is Bryce Saturn doing trying to attack Lance Storm during his entrance?
Lance Storm.
Sorry, Lance Archer. Wow, talk about brain mush.
I don't know, but Lance Archer, look, what are you going to do? Face off against this guy face to face? No, he's going to eliminate you. You got to try to attack from behind.
But he didn't try to attack him. He just ran right towards him and Lance backdropped him.
Hey, man, it's a solid strategy. I'm just saying. That's what he's trying to do, trying to get a leg up on Lance Storm. But instead, Bryce Saturn.
Here's the thing. If Lance Archer had a gun, I would agree with him, because you charge him if he has a gun.
Yeah, but if you have a knife, you run away from him.
Yes, but Lance Archer didn't have a knife either.
That's my son, Saul Ruka. We're mixing up references now. Anyways, Lance Archer destroys this poor jobber.
Yeah.
Big clothesline gets the job done. So he's back, baby. I know he had been complaining on Twitter about not wrestling. So now he's wrestling, so maybe he's happy.
Yeah, Lance Archer is such a fun wrestler to watch.
I love Lance Archer. He's got a great face too. Like at the end of this, he's got that look of like post-orgasm when he looks into the camera, like,
yeah.
Oh man, we got to watch that Eliminate again. That show was great. Any other wrestlers ever make it on Eliminate? We got to watch that.
Not that I'm aware of. We can look into that though.
We'll watch non-wrestler episodes of Eliminate.
Then we had a Keith Lee, Dustin, and then also Mogo Affiliates kind of video package promo. Dustin asked Keith if he's up to challenging Swerve and Parker next week. Keith Lee says he's game. Swerve says everyone wants Mogo Affiliates' attention. We're game. You want us at the Cow Palace? You got us. And then Dustin says the force is strong with Keith Lee and the Rhodes family. They make no mistake. You're going to hell, and this time it's for good.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. Swerve and Parker next week.
I feel like Swerve has to do something dastardly and then pin Dustin.
Well, I'm assuming Trench is going to play into this match as well, because he's been gone for a little while. Was he in this promo, Trench?
No, it was just Swerve and Parker.
All right, he'll return, and then Dustin is going to end up eating the pin here.
And that's going to lead to Keith Lee challenging Swerve to a match at Revolution.
That makes sense, yeah. Which will be a banger match.
Yeah.
After that, we had the pre-main event interview with Action Andrade and Sami Guevara. Sami Guevara. So Mark Henry asked Sami a question, but Garcia's like, hey, I got this. The disrespect of Sami Guevara has gone way too far. This man is a 3-time TNT champ. He's a pillar. He's married to a beautiful woman and has a beautiful family. And I'm going to make it my mission that Sami starts getting the respect that he deserves. And then Sami's like, oh, thanks, man. And he hugs Garcia. He's I'm super proud of you, man.
Yeah. And like whenever Sami hugs Garcia's like, oh, get off me, man.
It's pretty good, though. So anyways, Action Andrade says, you know what, Danny, you're right about all those things you said about Sami. But last week was when I was laying the beat down on Sami and he ran away. He proved to me he's nothing but a punk coward. Tonight I'm going to prove that I'm not a guy who came in off a fluke victory. I'm not just an upset. I'm the real deal. I'm the sight to see. And tonight I'm going to show exactly that, because it's just action. Action now. Not words on you, Sami.
Yep. Then after that, Excalibur is breaking down what's happening on Dynamite. We get a Stokely Hathaway promo. Stokely says, Hook is back because of me. My favorite word, settlement.
Oof.
So I know who Hook will go one-on-one against next week on Dynamite. This man, he loves his country. He's got a lot of ego. He's a family man. He loves his children just like me. And he turns to Ethan Page and he says, "You know exactly who I'm talking about." Page says, "I do, Matt Hardy." And then Stokely's like, "Oh," gets his phone from his pocket, goes, "Oh, I got to take this," and he leaves. So Page asks Matt, "What's up with that face? I thought we had an understanding. When I say jump," and Matt says, "Oh," and I say, "How high?" You're right. I am the guy for the job. Sure, Hook is the future of AEW, but I am the legendary. I am the iconic Matt Hardy. So I'm confident I'm going to win. I'm so confident I'm going to put something on the line. It's so absurd to think that Hook can beat me, but if he does beat me, then Hook gets the match against Stokely." And then Cassie's like, "Yeah. And if this match happens, we're all banned from ringside." And then Ethan Page gets so wrapped up in this. He goes, "Yeah, why not make it no DQ?"
Yeah. It's pretty ridiculous stuff. It's pretty funny, yeah. So after that, we had our main event, Sami Guevara versus Action Andrade. This was a really fun match. Lots of cool stuff going on here. Of course, the distraction, and I think it was actually a kick, wasn't it, that Garcia hits? Yeah, hit him with the clothesline while the ref is checking on Sami after Andrade hits a shotgun drop kick. And then because of that clothesline, Sami is able to hit the GTH to get the win over Action Andrade.
Yep. Yeah, it was a fun bout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really fun. All right, man. So, let's answer some questions, and then Paul will call in after that. I also failed to mention earlier when I was pointing out the YouTube channel members, we also have a couple new patrons. Jen 1980 and Cool Bro are both new patrons. Earlier in last week, Antonio Rubio, Kyle the Ginger, and Stan, all new patrons. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support, both channel members and patrons. And yeah, let's go ahead and answer some questions. I think I know I put up a thread on the YouTube. I know you have the Patreon in front.
I do. Alex Foster here asks, if Cody loses to Roman, what should be next for the Bloodline story? Cody shouldn't necessarily challenge again right away, so there's probably be some other story beats away from him. The way they're setting this up, Bloodline's losing everything at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that kind of should be the thing. The only way I feel like Cody's going to lose is if Vince steps in and like exercises his creative control clause.
Vince just steps in like Hogan did at Starrcade 97. Not today.
Yeah, I know exactly. Now, what I'm thinking is maybe if Roman does win, I think it's a possibility.
Yeah. I think
if Roman wins, it needs to be just the further deterioration of the bloodline. I mean, it would be fascinating if the Usos lose the tag titles and Roman wins his titles, but he sees it as a loss because like they're still frayed. They're not necessarily helping Roman. He won, and they lost. So it'd be just further manipulation. And then who knows? I don't know who would challenge Roman at that point.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been a better idea than Cody, you know?
Yeah, I know. I mean, maybe one thing they could do if Roman does retain is that Roman literally throws every member of his family in front of Cody. Like during the match, like ref bump is overbooked, and he has his family take the blows from Cody just for him to capitalize on all that.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's like peak manipulation from Roman. It takes that for him to get the win.
Maggie here in chat says Seth. And yeah, Seth would be a great idea because Seth is that's the guy where the betrayal originated from. So to come full circle, he's also the only guy who got a win over Roman during all this. It was a DQ win, but still it was a win.
A win nonetheless.
So maybe they could craft a story that would make it sort of better than Cody even. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the history is definitely there.
Oh, definitely.
Jonathan Vieira says, not wrestling related, which movie franchise would you guys rather watch in one sitting? Fast and Furious or Transformers?
Wow. I don't think I've seen an entirety of any of those movies.
I think I saw the Transformers in the movie theaters when it first came, like the first Bay one.
Maybe I've seen the first one. Maybe I saw the first one.
I might have seen it with you, to be honest with you. Probably Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Probably. I think they're sort of a bit more wink and a nudge,
I mean, there's a fairly dedicated fan base to the Fast and Furious franchise, whereas I don't think, at least for the Michael Bay Transformers franchise, I don't think anybody really gives a shit about those movies.
I don't know how those movies make so much money. It's nuts.
Yeah, I know.
It's like Avatar. Like, I don't know anybody who went to go see that second Avatar movie, but it's like, I don't know, the third most watched movie now or something like that. Alex Rivera says, I bet Gunther loses the title in a triple threat without getting pinned, joins the tournament to crown new Universal Champion after Cody relinquishes it. Thoughts? I don't think that's going to happen.
It's possible. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. That's my thoughts. Nick asks, if aliens came to destroy the Earth, but you could book one 5-star match so the Earth wasn't destroyed, what 2 wrestlers would you use that are not from the same company? Okada and Seth Rollins.
Okada and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, that was going to be my other option there. Yeah. I would not use Roman Reigns because he cannot get 5 stars from Dave Meltzer.
No, 4 3/4 best he can do.
4 3/4 tops.
Shavon asks, NXT UK champion Walter or Intercontinental champion Gunther. Gunther has been putting in the best matches every week, whatever he's on. Walter didn't wrestle week to week, but his matches always had the big fight feel to them.
So, probably Walter. I love Gunther. I think it's phenomenal that he has gotten into incredible shape.
Yeah.
He's still a great wrestler who wrestles a lot. He is bringing prestige back to that Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
But, and this is just me. I am a sucker for the aesthetics of a thing. Walter had that beef on him. He had all that meat on him. And to me, that looks a lot more, I hate to use this word, realistic. It seems like it'd make more sense for him to be able to like lay into a dude like Braun Strowman, even though I know Braun Strowman is jacked and Walter was doughy. But the fact is he had a lot of meat on him. And that to me just seems more realistic. I have to, suspend my disbelief a little bit less with Walter.
Yeah. And I always like the idea of somebody with a fairly unassuming name like Walter.
Yeah.
Be able to destroy everybody.
Yeah, right.
Even though Walter's in all caps. You see a wrestler named Walter. That's not much. That's not like a name that grabs you. And then you see him wrestle, like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. He's incredible.
They do. If you go back and look at Walter, though, they look like 2 different people.
I know.
Shedding all that weight, he looks like a completely different person. Especially his WWE render. It's hilarious. But
this half smile on his face.
Yeah.
It's like half smile, half grimace. Yeah.
It's so funny because I watched a little clip of him on the bump when he was talking about his ranking in WWE 2K, and he's so affable. Like he's so just
I know,
relaxed, and like he's just a normal guy. But Walter had that intimidation factor. And but I think it's absolutely phenomenal that he is finally getting what he really deserves. Mm-hmm. A good, strong run with the Intercontinental Championship, bringing that. He is the perfect Intercontinental Champion.
Cool Bro asks, what is one of the all-time scariest spots bump that you would be willing to take? None of them. I'm not taking any spots or scary spots or bumps. No way.
Scary bump that I'd be willing to take.
I'm not taking any bumps, first of all.
Scary bump. Well, there'd have to be like, I'd be willing to do it for like just retirement money. Like, okay, I never have to do another thing in my life. $400 million. A scary bump that I'd be willing to take for $400 million.
Question is, what would you do with that $400 million, Steve?
I would hire so many people to take care of my houses. And I would have you over every week for my theater. I'd have the enforcer come up. He can live in my guest house. Y'all can have all the retirement money. I'd give you a cool couple mil each, just to meander, just to be around, man. Mm-hmm. And we do the only thing we do each week. We do Smash Zone. We still do Smash Zone every week.
Still do Smash Zone.
Yeah. What's an insane bump that actually is like
it doesn't seem so bad?
Yeah. No. I was thinking of like, wasn't there like a really high up move? Like Kenny dropped Sammy Guevara with a one-winged angel.
Yeah, it was at the first Stadium Stampede match.
But they essentially landed in like a giant balloon /
a crash pad, yeah.
A giant crash pad.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't do it. But
not for $400 million, maybe.
Something like that, where it's like, okay, I'm up on Kenny's shoulders, and then I bring my head down, and then we just fall, and hopefully I'm okay.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing but crash pad there. It's nothing but giant air balloon.
So long as Kenny hits crash pad at the right angle, all should be well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
David Matushek, considering that Mercedes' New Japan contract only has a few dates left, what other non-AEW commitments should she try out first? Impact. She really wants the match against Mickie James. I'd be shocked if that doesn't happen.
That would be outstanding.
It'd be awesome to see her against Jordan Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, Masha, Giselle Shaw. There's so many good wrestlers in
There's
Impact.
a whole giant run. Yeah, there's a whole giant division of Killer Kelly's there. Yeah, there's just a ton of great wrestlers. I'd love to see her go into the women's division in Impact. I think it'd be awesome. Eastside Review says, which of the Triple H rehires has been the most disappointing? Which one do you see leaving WWE first?
Which one has been the most disappointing?
I think Cross has racked up too many victories, man. Every time I see his entrance, has racked up too many losses, rather. Cross. I'm disappointed how many times he's won.
Yeah, I mean, he's really let me down with all these victories.
He's racked me up. He's racked up too many losses. Like, he's not featured enough. He's not doing enough. They're not letting him wrestle in a cool way. Yeah, that entrance is everything. Yeah, this really guy should be just murdering everybody. That entrance is amazing.
It is really good. I had high hopes when they brought Hit Row back.
Oh man!
And from a creative standpoint, WWE has done nothing with him. Nothing.
Yeah, they've really done absolutely nothing with Hit Row.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Even the heel turn led to nothing.
Yeah, Michael Cole still just mocks. It's like such a Vince thing that Michael Cole's doing with the plancha.
With Top Dollar, I know.
Tope Dollar.
It's disappointing because they were really good. I know Swerve was with them too. But they were really good in NXT, and then when they got brought up, I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm hopeful that this will lead to something. And then they all got released. Swerve went to AEW, and they brought Ashanti and Top Dollar and B-Fab back. And then from a creative standpoint, just nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned like Walter had that intimidation factor with all the beef. I kind of feel like the same with Top Dollar. I think he looked like a big, beefy, he was a hoss, and he lost all that weight. Awesome for him. Great for him. Yeah. From a visual standpoint, as a fan watching TV, he just looks like a guy who lost a ton of weight. He just lost a little bit of the intimidation factor. There's that, but also, that's beyond. Even if he hadn't lost all that weight, he still looked intimidating. They're still not doing anything with him creatively. So it's like that's compounding things. Mm-hmm. And the sad thing is, I really feel like Top Dollar, like when I've seen him do stuff like the WWE archive stuff, the dude's got personality. Yeah. I feel like he's trying, because at this point, he's the centerpiece of Hit Row. He should be the focal point. And I feel like they need to let him be a bit more himself or something. Yeah. I feel like he's trying to lean too hard into being a character. Mm-hmm. But again, that's just whenever they feature him, which they really don't.
No.
So yeah, that has been kind of disappointing. I was happy when they brought them back, and they just haven't done anything with them.
Yeah, they haven't done anything with them. Haven't done anything.
Anyways, that's it for the questions on my end.
We'll do this one from Edward Munoz.
Okay.
It says, how do you guys feel about the positive categories and Wrestling Observer Awards going to WWE and almost all the negative ones going to... positive ones going to AEW, the negative ones going to WWE?
I phrased this. We answered this question to a degree. I brought this up in the pre-show, which is going to go up on Friendo Club TV. And I had a really, really well-phrased answer to this. But essentially, it's this. So I'm going to try,
paraphrase, yes.
I'm going to try to do it as eloquently as I did it before. When you build a community, as the Wrestling Observer has done through the newsletter and through their, podcast and their video and stuff, much the way we have as well here at Going in Raw, built a community, put a show out, get some, listeners, whatever. When you do that and you're able to build that community, you're building it because the people that you are, that are tuning in to see you, understand and to a degree appreciate and maybe even agree with your perspective, your point of view. AEW is a company built off of, basically a lot of Dave Meltzer's friends in the industry, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, the Elite. Tony Khan has used the Wrestling Observer outlet to promote heavily his AEW stuff. Seemingly, when Tony Khan wants to get on Wrestling Observer, the radio, he could just call up Dave and he gets on there.
Yeah.
Apparently he can even shift schedules around to do that.
Yeah.
If the scuttlebutt of the weekend is to be believed.
Yes.
And so when you're building up this audience, if you are so, what's the word I'm looking for? If you genuflect so much over one thing, AEW, which Dave Meltzer has done because it's a company built on the foundations of the kind of wrestling that Dave Meltzer likes.
Yeah.
And you give AEW that voice always. And if you've built up a contentious relationship with WWE along the last 30 years, your fan base, your audience, they're not going to be too into WWE regardless of who's running the show.
Yeah, it's going to reflect all that, what you just said. Yes.
Right. Yeah. And so it's not surprising. It's much like when we hear it going in Raw do our Friendo Awards. By and large, the stuff that we're really into is reflected in the results of the voting, and that's fine. It's the community that we have built.
Yep.
Sort of understand where we're coming from, and I'm not saying that they parrot us exactly. They watch us and listen to us because we have similar predilections, I guess. Similar tastes.
Yes.
Yeah. So our audience will see things by and large the way we have, chosen to present our opinions on things, and their audience will do the same.
Yep.
This is not when you put out a poll like that to your audience, you're not putting that out to an unbiased sample size. They are part of your community.
Yes.
And they will see things the way that you have presented them.
Yep. Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
With that in mind, should we give Paul a call?
Oh, yeah. Let's bring Paul in here. I want to get some water.
What do you need water for? You can do some talking here quite a bit? I think you are.
Nah, well, I got some paperwork that requires some voice stuff. So, yeah. Anyways, here we go. Hello, this is Paul Levesque of the Game Triple H. Who's ready for Monday Night Raw? Are you ready?
Hi, Triple H. How are you?
I'm doing well. Steve, how's Fat John Cena doing?
We're all doing well over here at Going in Raw. Thanks for asking.
I got good news for you.
Oh.
I know that there was some controversy last Friday with my overly passionate horniness. However, you caught me in a good period right now. I'm in what they call a refractory period. Because I took good old JR's advice. I went to the bathroom stall.
How about I got a question for you.
Yeah, what's your question?
So there's been some reports that there's some people backstage unhappy with your approach to booking WrestleMania.
Yeah, Karrion Kross. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he's not going to be at WrestleMania.
Ah.
He's going to be doing like meet and greets, signing autographs, pressing the flesh, which I did earlier in the bathroom. Suck it. Yeah, I had to get that in there. You thought that interrupting me, I'd get off that subject. I let you interrupt me this time because I thought it'd be funny to bring it back around. I give you control, but you think you better bow down to the master.
All right. What can we expect from Raw tonight?
In the bathroom. Raw tonight. I don't know. Let me bring up my notes. Where are my notes?
Oh, you have notes for it. Okay.
Hold on. I got notes around here somewhere. Let's see here. Rob, here we go. Becky Lynch and Lita are going to have a big match for WWE Women's Tag Team Gold. That's right, Damage Control. They're putting the tag team titles on the line, but there's an X Factor involved in it, so Bailey.
We're going to see Trish Stratus tonight.
Oh, wouldn't you love to know the big surprises?
Yeah, scoops all the time.
Yeah, she's gonna be there. She's gonna be there. Yeah,
okay.
If you don't interrupt me, if you don't interrupt me, I have a certain way of speaking.
Apologies.
Don't interrupt my ass. Let's practice. I know you really want to interrupt right now. Also tonight on Raw, Brock Lesnar, will he accept Moss's WrestleMania challenge? I know I've been getting a lot of heat from the internet wrestling nerds out there. And they're like, oh, wow, why would Triple H book a boss versus Brock Lesnar? That's garbage. It's got to be Vince back in control. Who am I imitating there?
I know who it is. But
yeah, you do. So, yeah, well, Brock Lesnar, Richard, yeah, he's going to come back. He's going to drop a boss with an F5. Bobby Lashley comes back.
Oh, all right. That's what I thought then, yeah.
Or it's going to be a boss versus Brock Lesnar. I haven't decided yet.
Oh, okay. Well,
I got to make that decision. I got to watch that WrestleJuice video where Steve...
3.5 hours, roughly.
With Fat John Cena, where he talks about how WrestleMania... I find it funny Fat John Cena thinks that he could book a better WrestleMania than me.
Well, I guess you can take it up with him, huh?
No, I don't want to see his fat face. No.
We could put whatever still you want. He doesn't have to be there on video.
No, wait, what? No, I don't... Listen, move on. Asuka is versus Carmella. She's going to wipe the floor with Carmella. She's going to get missed in the face and then drop her with some kicks and then to do the thing that she does.
Oh, the Ring of Saturn deal.
Yeah, or the Asuka lock, whatever, whichever one works better. I just let her go out there and don't interrupt. I just let her go out there and do what she wants to do. She's Asuka. She's greatest.
All right. There's Miz TV too?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Miz TV. Look, man, sometimes Dad texts me. He's like, hey, you need to put more Miz TV on there. I'm like, Dad, that's garbage. And he's like, oh, I know who you're imitating right now. And then, but yeah, Miz TV is going to be on there. But I try to at least make them entertaining. Yeah.
What?
I at least try to make them entertaining.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
The Miz TV segment.
And then Candice LeRae is going to take on Piper
Find
Niven.
it funny. You can't understand the words I said.
No, there's maybe a bad connection or something. I'm sorry.
You got mail. Next up, Candice LeRae. Remember when the internet used to be?
Yeah.
You got mail. Yeah, it was weird. Candice LeRae battles Piper Niven. But then we're probably going to get, don't interrupt me. I wasn't done with that preview. And then we're probably going to get like some like Nikki Cross stuff maybe in this match. And then Piper Niven gets the win because Candice LeRae gets distracted by Nikki Cross.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably going to happen.
Makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Well, thank you, Triple H. I don't want to keep you. I know you're busy.
I got nothing better to do. You want to just hang out, watch some TV? My refractory period might be done soon. You want to watch some pornography with the game?
I'll let you do what you do.
Break it down, pornography with the game. Triple H, you and me sitting next to each other. He's gone. He left.
Okay.
How'd that telephone call? Was it better than the last one? Was he not as horny?
He's super horny.
He's still horny? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Was he making all sorts of inappropriate comments?
Of course.
They talk about trains, like choo-choo trains?
No, not today, thankfully.
Well, that's good. All right, on.
Nightfall here with membership on YouTube says Triple H, if Vince isn't in charge, explained Otis becoming a male model. Just missed asking that.
Just missed him. I would suspect that he would probably think that Otis is funny. He should be in funny stuff. He probably just misses, oh, yeah, Otis. And is like, yeah, let's put him in some funny stuff. I think Triple H probably thinks Max and Male Models is funny. Or maybe he just keeps them around. You think he just keeps Max and Male Models around just to like, you know, to notion events, you know, hey, I'm keeping some of your stuff around.
Maybe.
This should keep you. I wonder if there's any amount of stuff that Triple H keeps around just to sort of like, you know, be like, look, man, if I dismantle this, you know, I think the big question is, what would WWE look like if Vince was completely and totally out of the picture? Either he passes or he's jailed or the company is sold and he is completely frozen out and that's it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Would Triple H really overhaul it?
Yeah, I don't know. That I don't know.
I don't know. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thank you to the new channel members. Thank you to the new patrons. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.